Crocodile is probably my least favourite episode of Black Mirror on the whole. It's not totally without merit, of course, but the trouble was that I did that thing that I do with Doctor Who all the time, where I had an idea for what I wanted the episode to end up doing, and then when it didn't end up doing that, I got a bit frustrated with the narrative that I was actually given. So yeah, you know that thing that fanboys do on the internet where they blame the reviewer rather than the bit of media itself for a bit of criticism that it gets? This might be another of those cases where you could say that I'm the problem and not the show. See, I admit my flaws. I can be humble, damn it. Tell me how humble I am. Tell me how humble I am now, puny mortals. Also, before I go in, now I know this has nothing to do with it and it's just an unhappy coincidence that Crocodile is a really bleak thriller set in a cold and desolate landscape and features purposefully anachronistic music choices, and all of these things could be describing the infamously bad movie The Snowman that came out about 3 months before this did and was steadfastly on my mind throughout the duration. I was seriously anticipating the moment where the investigator lady would get sent a card saying, "Miss Police, I gave you all the clues," and for a snowman to appear outside a window with a sudden bit of incidental music. Okay, the episode can't help my association with that boring piece of shit. I just thought I'd bring it up because it might have been part of why me and this episode got off on the wrong foot. All that aside, why I wasn't too struck on this one. Now, what you could have had here in principle is an interesting approach to a detective drama. The detective's not really a detective, of course, part of the problem, but she's got this bit of technology that when you hook it up to a subject, it allows them to create a visual reconstruction of their memory of a night that a crime took place. Basically turning everyone and anyone into a potential CCTV camera. That's fascinating. It is. That's a great Black Mirror idea there. And a fair bit of the episode does work and does offer me what I was hoping I would get out of this story. But I guess one of the problems with this is the detective character isn't really a focal point. And she doesn't realise that she's ostensibly the detective character in a murder mystery, so there's no real sense of urgency on her end. She's just sort of wandering around in the first half going dum-da-dum-da-dum-da-dum-da-dum-da-dum, while the viewers just sort of vicariously sat on the edge of their seat going, "Ooh, she's getting close to finding out that Mia killed that guy. Ooh, is she gonna? Oh, she's found it out! Yeah! Wow! Wonder what's gonna happen now?" Instead of that, what Crocodile actually is the story of Mia trying desperately hard to rid herself of the evidence that she's now partly responsible for the deaths of 2 people. Except in this scenario, a new technological development has meant that there's even more openings for her to get caught, and more tracks for her to cover. Meanwhile, Shazia doesn't realise what's potentially in store for her when she uncovers the truth. I will admit that's an interesting approach, and the intersecting storylines offer a really cool inverse mirror image of each other. But I guess part of the reason I was disappointed by it was that it follows similar patterns and explores themes that Black Mirror uses pretty much all the time. Technological developments making people more vulnerable and easily fucked over. When I just felt there was an opportunity here to explore a Black Mirror idea in the context of a slightly different genre to the type of bleak spec fiction drama that I love, yes, but that the show kinda does all the time. Part of the beauty of an anthology series is the variety it can offer. You never know what you're gonna get. Shearsmith and Pemberton's Inside Number 9 demonstrates this perfectly. They flip genres and formats so often and really go to town on experimenting with the way that they present their stories. They've done trad horror, silent comedy, a story told entirely on security cameras. Oh yeah, and there was that one that they did entirely in iambic pentameter that I enjoyed the fuck out of. And Black Mirror experiments with form too. The National Anthem's a political thriller with a really weird conceit. White Bear's a surreal horror, Nosedive's a black comedy, San Junipera's a romantic drama. Crocodile had all the makings of what could have been an interesting evolution of the detective drama, and yet it just doesn't do it for some reason. And while yes, I love Black Mirror's usual tricks a lot, I guess I was disappointed with this one because it offered me glimmers of something different to usual, but then it just decided to stick to the show's usual shtick, and I just couldn't help but feel a bit let down by that. It just didn't feel that adventurous to me. As said, it is interesting in the capacity of being a demonstration of technology, but it could still have been a mystery thriller as well as people getting fucked over by insert this week's technological development here again. One where the detective character is actually active in the narrative and has a bit more direction and drive. It does get more interesting once it's got all of its establishment out of the way. Okay, so Shazia can see people's recollections, it's the law that you have to let her inside your mind. Okay, she's seen that I've killed someone, so I have to kill her. Her husband knows that she came here, so I have to kill him. Oh shit, the kid saw me, I have to kill him. It's like this Russian nesting doll of extreme violence, and it's great. This 20-minute stretch of the episode is pretty damn solid. Okay, just think here, what if the episode hadn't given us the context? You have, let's say, 1 or 2 examples of Shazia getting people to recollect in order to demonstrate the technology. She shows up at Mia's door, gets her to recollect, and finds out that she's secretly a murderer. Really play into the shock of finding something so dark out so suddenly like that. Technology has allowed you to see something that you shouldn't. Because that moment where she sees the murder inside Mia's head, it was great. You really feel that massive increase in tension. I'm just not sure that all the context was totally necessary. And then we get to...
So I have to say, I have absolutely no idea what I'm looking for. Does a good job, they're not asking me. Let the recall team do their job.
Okay, yes, this is funny, and yes, it made me laugh out loud for its absolute absurdity, in the same way that the National Anthem made me laugh out loud, but the National Anthem is presented with a thin layer of realism, and it's pretty tonally consistent throughout. While I can see the argument that Crocodile did need a bit of levity to it, as it's a very bleak episode, and what's just happened right before this is pretty fucking horrible even by this show's standards, but the utter absurdity of this moment kinda hit me right the fuck out of nowhere and felt really jarring to me. So, yeah, overall, while there's some interesting ideas in Crocodile, the only problem I had was that they were buried inside a framework that's just a bit too familiar by this point to make it stand out and be particularly striking to me.